Dear student, the last class we have completed with the unit 3, that is a new venture creation, and we'll move on to the unit 4, which talks about your MSME. Now, when we talk about your MSME, what is this MSME? So, here, this micro, small, and medium enterprises. So, first, you should what are the topics that you have to cover under unit 5, which gives a clear information where the meaning, definition, role, steps involved in the formation, and when you talk about there are certain schemes that you should remember. This is financial, marketing, training, and supporting schemes. Government initiatives. We have one is we call it as a Make in India, and the other one we have a Startup India. Now, before covering all this topic, first we'll understand the meaning of your MSME. Now, for your examination viewpoint, they might ask you a section A, section B, and section C kind of chapter. So, first we'll discuss about the MSME. Now, what is the general meaning of your micro, small, and medium enterprise, where it's a small size entity defined in terms of the size of investment. Now, to be very clear about your MSME, so where which will be performed a critical role in economy by providing an employment opportunity for a large in number, or we say large group of people. It can be a skilled or a semi-skilled people. Ultimately, which is going to contribute for the export. It's a contribution to the exports, raising a manufacturing sector's production and extending support to a bigger industry by supplying a raw material, basic foods, finished parts, and components. Now, the definition of MSME, which gives a clear information, the government of India has enacted the micro, small, medium enterprise development, which has a different enterprises which has been given as under like the enterprises can be engaged in the production or manufacturing, processing, or preservation of a goods. Now, micro enterprise is an enterprise where an investment which will be done, that is, investment in a plant and machinery does not exceed 25 lakh rupees. That's we call it as micro enterprise. Small enterprise, where an enterprise where the investment in plant and machinery is more than 25 lakh but does not exceed 5 crore rupees. So we give the information about your micro which does not exceed 25. Small enterprise, that is a investment in plant and machinery more than 25 by a lakh but does not exceed 5 crore rupees. This is a medium enterprise concept where we say enterprise where investment in plant and machinery is more than 5 crore but does not exceed 10 crore rupees. Now, in all this case of above enterprise, where investment in a plant and machinery is an original cost, excluding the land and building and items which will be specified by the Ministry of a small scale. Now, what is this enterprise? Which the enterprise which is purely engaged in the providing or rendering the services where investment in equipment. So, as per the notified which has been given by MSMED Act 2006. So these are the definition which talks about your MSME. Very important. First, you should know what is enterprise, what is micro enterprise, what is small enterprise, and then what is medium enterprise. Enterprise, where which talks about the engaged in the manufacturing or production, processing or preservation of goods and services. Micro enterprise, investment in plant and machinery does not exceed 25 lakh rupees. Small enterprise, where investment in plant and machinery is more than 25 lakh but does not exceed 5 crore rupees. Medium enterprise, where investment in plant and machinery more than 5 crore but does not exceed 10 crore rupees. I hope you understood the meaning of that is a MSME. Now, once we have completed with the meaning of MSME, we have our importance and challenges of MSME in Indian economy. So, before starting with an importance or a challenges of MSME, first we'll complete with a step-by-step procedure to start an MSME. How an MSME which will be functioning, or what is an approach to start an MSME by an individual. So first and foremost, we have to identify the opportunity. When we say identifying the opportunity, anyone can think or to establish the person or individual who want to think to establish an MSME unit can summarize in a one way. We call it as an opportunity, which can be provided in the form of a product or a services, but ultimately they are going to earn a profit, or we say a sufficient surplus. Once an idea which has been screened out, a business opportunity will be engaged in the start, that is to emerge the project. The emerging the project, there are a four pieces of a project concepts. That means once idea you have screened, there is an opportunity which will be engaged. The four pieces of a project concept, it can be in the form of, you can as an individual can do in the form of a product. When we say a product, the product can be in the form of size, nature, and shape. The second, which talks about process technology to produce a product, how the a process which carries out for completion of your product. The third one is a place, it's the location of a plant. Fourth one is a partner technology of a financial collaboration. The second step will be the making a product choice. When we say making a product choice, project completion stage, while making a product choice, following factors will be considered for a product need to be considered. What are those? We have a product line, that's the depth and width, packaging, branding, easy availability of a raw material, process technology, accessibility to a market, incentives and supports from a government. There are also, apart from this, there are also some of the factors which is going to consider while finalizing the product choice. It can be available, that we say a process of technology one we have already completed, and there is also called as an after sale services or a warranties can also be included when you are making a choice of a product. The third topic is about your the third step, which talks about your process selection. Now, before having the process selection, as I said, that there will be an when you are making a product choice. Apart from this, there are the other points that has to be considered, where you also get your market information. That is also very important before making a choice. What type of that is, who should be a content of export product portfolio and special requirement for packaging, then product adoptions. Is there any WTO conditionality, that's like a child labor free or development of export, that's export product portfolio, and exim bank should also be developed with excellent model. So there are analysis has to be done to raise a product grow with a high potential or a low potential. Then the third step for, or you can say, to approach MSME is your process selection. When we say a process selection, it's a choice of a process of technology emerges once the product has been finalized. There are a complex of product or a process that will be imported. In such cases, an agreement for technology transfer should be made in a due care of to safeguard the interest. A lot of appropriate technology that is being developed at CSIR and defense research labs, and some of the technologies also has been brought in, so which ultimately which gives an intrinsic benefit such as an appropriateness and related inexpensive. So when you are checking out your process technology, that there are certain things has to be considered. The process inquiries with the high level of skilled workers or a large quantities of water or patent needs, produce special pollutions or environment regulations, and appropriate of engine garments and conditions should be considered. The fourth step is about your arranging finance. There is no MSME unit can take off without a monetary support. The needs of finance are classified in a four types, where we say long and medium term loans, short term and working capital requirements. It is capital, seed capital. Seed capital is also known as a marginal money, and bridge loan. So these are the very important, or you can say the need of finance for based on it has been classified into four types, where there are financial institutions in India for MSME, which is providing varieties of you can say an institutions. The one where we call it as a commercial or a regional, rural or a cooperative bank. SIDBI is there. There is a small industrial development bank of India, and then SFC, that is state financial corporations, and then we have a state industrial development corporations. Now, when you want to take a loan for a financial institution, or when you want to take a loan from a long and medium term loans, which will be provided by SFC, SIDBI, and SIDC. Banks also provide the financial term loans. For this type of finance is made for purchasing of a land, construction purpose, and then purchasing of plant and equipment. Short-term loan will be provided for a working capital requirement for the purchasing of a raw material, payment of wages, and other immediate manufacturing and administration process. That's for a loans from financial institutions and commercial banks, then applications need to be made, and the detailed document should also be provided. Then later after that, the sanction or rejection letter will be issued by a bank after making an assessment of the applications. Subsequently, loan will be disbursed according to the phase of the implementations of the project. So that which talks about your the arranging of a finance. The finance facilities will be provided by the banks and the financial institutions for starting of MSME. Then fifth, filing of an entrepreneur's memorandum. When we are filing of a entrepreneurs memorandum, which provides a filing the memorandum by micro, small, and medium enterprises. So there is a section 8 stipulates the form of a memorandum, procedure of its filing, and other matter incidental to shall be notified as per the central government. The memorandum will be filed by the three categories of enterprises with the district industries. The procedure will be followed as per the filing of it, which will be scheduled, and the notification which will be sent. And there is a certain schemes which will be provided. The memorandum has to be filed based upon the three categories of an enterprise. There are a procedure for filing of a memorandum. Also, there are a certain you can say when you want to form an entrepreneur memorandum, it has to be downloaded through an internet, and where we stop dealing with your micro and medium, small and medium enterprise of the state government. And any person who want to establish this, they have to provide or rendering the services. So they should be engaged whether they have to engage in the production or whether they are engaged with the service oriented. before issuing the acknowledgement, the district industry center will make an assurance for the complete respect and particularity. And the district industry will also maintain a record for all the enterprises, that's an entrepreneurs memorandum. It will be filled in the form of a in respect of micro, small, and medium enterprise. And there will be a record which will be maintained by the district industry center for all the entrepreneurs memorandum which has been filed and which are engaged with the medium enterprise. And there are categories also. There are two parts where you are going to provide, one in the form of where you say a service, the other one which talks about your production or a manufacturing. So here, once it has been done, if there is any change in the product or if there is change in the investment of a plant and machinery, the district industry will take a keeping a record in writing, and they also maintain the records electronically. So that is how we are going to file an entrepreneur's memorandum. Then after that, the sixth one which talks about your NSIC procedure for hiring a purchase of machinery. Now applications of a there is indigenous or imported machinery will be considered by the committee comprising of the representative of a chief controller of an import, developed commissioners, and micro, small, and medium enterprise and other concerned department. Now, where here there will be a certain rebate, 2% per annum will be allowed for the interest rate for an installment on or before the due date. And here, in case if you're making any payment in an installment basis, so it should be it should not be made within a 1 month of a specified due date. If it has not been made within a 1 month of a due date, at that particular time, interest rate 2% per annum will be charged. And at the same time, once all the formalities will be completed by the hirer or instruction, it will be sent to a supplier to dispatch the consignment. And the NSIC, after ensuring all the dues which will be paid by the hirer, that will be given for taking a delivery of the machine. In case imported machinery of that, but that is a procedure is slightly different as per the shipping document, and to be sent to a clearing agent for the clearing the consignment from the customs, and later will be dispatched to the hirer. Now, after that, the constructions of a building, once the industrial plot for the unit which has been secured, then they move on for the next job is about the finding about the suitable architect. That's the architect. Then architect is an estimating about what is the building constructions is essential for the essential, and based upon that, the loan applications which will be formed and certificate of money spent on a building is needed for the disbursement of loan. So next, the eighth one gives the information about getting the utility that's the connections, getting the unit that's utility connections among the utilities of prime importance about the power and water. In many cases, getting the power connections causes a delay in setting up of a plant. Therefore, imperative to commence work of the aspects in a vigilant follow-up, and power connections, which also talks about a form of applications is need to be made from to a state electricity board. Electrical inspector will be deputed for the evaluation of applications based on the factor. It's based on factor site forwarded to the application to the head office. Then all the applications of indigenous will be checked and verified, and based upon the decision will be made by the committee. Once the formality has been completed by the hirer, ensures that it will be paid by the hirer. So then once it has been done, that is called as getting 3M rights. Now what is the 3M rights which will be given? One, the 3M, the men, machinery, and material. So men, here projection of a manpower for staffing are made for the project report. However, it's necessary for the time of inductions or orientations of manpower in a planned manner. The second, machinery, you are choosing a right machinery for your that's a production activity which you are going to carry out, and well-equipped technology or well-equipped that we can say, and machinery which is available for carrying out international trade fairs or an engineer fairs are a good place for looking the available options, and expert dealers, suppliers, as well as users. There will be a prime to make a selections for the equipment and machinery. The third, next we talked about under 3M, right, is materials. Procurement and planning of vertical success of startup with a MSME unit. Inventory management can also be lead to a cash flow situation. So it soon considerably for amount of the working capital will be locked up. Then the 10th point, exemptions from a compulsory license. Licensing in the industry sector is bound by the licensing exemptions notification issued by the Government of India. It's July 25th, 1991 under the Industrial and Regulation Act 1951. So a small unit employs less than 50 or 100 workers with or without the power, then they does not require a license from the Government of India, even for a 6 product group and covered in a licensing under Schedule 2 of the notification. Now these are the where you can say steps where to start an MSME. Now once these steps which has been followed, then you are going to have a final product or a final services which you are going to render for the society or the customers, which is to whom the customers ultimately, which has been decided by the medium enterprise, or it can be small enterprise, or we use the word as MSME. Next we have a concept called importance of MSME in India. Now, why is MSME is required in India? What's the important, or you can say, role of MSME in Indian economy? One, it creates an employment opportunity where it requires a low capital to start a business and ultimately leads to an high employment opportunity for many people who are unemployed in India. The second, economic stability in terms of growth and leverage export, where significant growth driven in India within contributing the tune of 8% GDP, and exporting sectors constitutes about 40% of contributions. Third, it encourage inclusive of a growth. So India is owned by just 100 people, which is an unequal distribution of wealth. So when you implement or included in the growth of your MSME, it leads to an growth of the economy. Fourth, cheap labor and minimum overhead, where requirement of labor is less, it does not require highly skilled labor. So at the same time, this MSME includes both skilled and unskilled labor, will ultimately benefit with the society. They get the employment opportunity here for an MSME. They get the surplus of profits for the business which they are going to carry out. The next, we have simple management structure for enterprise. MSME does not require a huge capital to start. Limited resources required to control, and at the same time, within the control of owner, decision making becomes easy and efficient. Then play an important role in Make in India is also possible. Since MSME is a backbone for a possibility, the government has directed a financial institution to lend more credit to the enterprise and MSME sectors. Now, there are a certain challenges of MSME that has to be faced by the where when you are going to start your MSME, where the sector which is purely one, an absence of adequate and timely banking finance, and then you have also a limited capital, then limited capital and knowledge, and the third, non-availability of a suitable technology. Then you have low product capacity, inefficient markets strategy, constraints of modernization and expansion, non-availability of a skilled labor at an affordable cost, and we have follow up with the various government agencies to resolve the problem due to a lack of manpower as well as the knowledge. Now, apart from that, we can also say that there are a certain challenges which will be faced where you say an IPR related issue, there's intellectual property rights, or a low information and communication technology, or problem in finance, marketing, or we say quality assurance and certification, low market penetration. And then we have a definition of MSME must also be updated, which is related to the inflation and availability of better technology. Since the last change in 2006, need to improve the competitiveness of overall MSME sectors. So these are the certain challenges which have to be faced by the MSME. Now, there are also certain schemes which will be provided where which talks about under MSME. So, what are the schemes we have? The present schemes which will be followed, which is related to the MSME. The first, we have a Prime Minister Employment Generation Program. The scheme is implemented by the Khadi and Village Industry Commissions, functioning for the nodal agency at the national level, where the scheme is implemented to a state KVIC. So, the maximum cost of the project will be admissible in the sectors 25 lakh, that's manufacturing sectors, and business or a service sector is 10 lakh rupees. The second scheme, Credit Guarantee Trust Fund for Micro and Small Enterprise Scheme. So it will be established, it has been a jointly established trust named Credit Guarantee Fund Trust for Micro and Small Enterprise, now to implement Credit Guarantee Scheme for Micro and Small Enterprise. Both existing as well as the new enterprise are eligible to take this under the scheme. And collateral free loan is up to a limit of 100 lakh is available for industrial MSME on payment of guarantee fee to bank by the MSME. The third, interest subsidies eligibility certificate is an important word for the Khadi program undertaken by the Khadi institution. That's mobilizing of funds from banking in these institutions to fill the gap between an actual fund requirement and availability of funds from a budgetary sources. So we have Khadi certificate and sanction Khadi program, which will be registered as per the that's the board. We have a state Khadi and village board. It will be registered, and then you are going to avail the finance as per the particular ISEC scheme. Next scheme, we have International Cooperation Scheme, provides a financial assistance on reimbursement basis for airfare, spare rent, that's a flight charges, advertisement and publicity charges, and also other charges like registration and reimbursement in case of participation of international exhibitions and trade fairs. Government institutions and then registered industry association will be associated with the promotion and development of MSME sector. Application will be given for a financial assistance, what will be signed in a prescribed form, and based upon that, the amount will be sanction for carrying out of the activity. Next, we have a marketing assistance scheme. Marketing assistance scheme provides for exhibition abroad, participation in international exhibitions. Co-sponsor will be organized for by another organization. Then buyer seller meets. The campaign will happen, and marketing promotion activities will happen. Then sixth one, procurement and marketing support scheme.
So here, encouraging the MSME to develop the domestic market and promotion a new market access initiative, facilitate a market linkage for effective implementations for public procurement, educating the MSME on various hacks of business development, overall awareness about the trade fairs and then market techniques and other related topics. Industrial manufacturing and service MSME can apply this scheme. Next, we have entrepreneurship skill development program organized by a talent of youth by enlightening them for various aspects of industrial activity which is required for MSME, generally which will be conducted by IT people, polytechnics and other technical institutions where skill is available and motivating towards for the self-employment opportunity. Eighth one, assistant to training institution which is provided to a national level training institution operating under Ministry of MSME, and namely we have also NIM, SME, KVIC, Cure Board, Tool Room, and then we also have a capital grants which will be granted for mainly for strengthening the infrastructure and also for the supporting the entrepreneur for skill development training program. So entrepreneurship development as well as the skill development training program, an amount which will be given, and it will be training will be given and supporting will be given for the entrepreneurs. And scale of maximum assistance here restricted is 2.5 crore rupees. Next is very important. Now, when we talk about these type of schemes, where you might expect a question that's a write a short note on assistance for training institution, or write a certain scheme which is which gives an you can say strengthening or motivating the MSME. So where you can expect for your section B or a section C for your that is a scheme of MSME. Next, we have a concept of a Startup India scheme, a Startup India again. Startup India and Make in India is a very important topic where you can expect for your section B or a section C. Now, when I talk about your Startup India scheme, first we should know what is the startup meaning, and then we'll see about what's the how the government has been launched. The startup means it's an entity or incorporated registered in India, not older than 5 years. Annual turnover does not exceeding the 25 crore in any financial year, working towards for the innovation, development, deployment, or commercializing of a new products and service driven by the technology or intellectual property. Now, the scheme is an initiative which has been done by the Indian government. The main objective to promote the startup is generation of employment and creation of wealth. Then this has been launched on 6th of January 2015 by Prime Minister Narendra Modi at that's a Ridwan Bhavan in New Delhi. And we have a features of the scheme. The new entrants are granted a tax holiday for 3 years, and government provide the fund up to this is 2005 crore for a startup, and credit guarantee fund is also available. That's up to 500 crore rupees. Eligibility for startup registration: the company who form a private limited company or a limited liability partnership, they can start the startup scheme. And it is a new form. It's not older than 5 years. Just have certain meaning, and you should get an approval from the Department of Industrial Policies and Promotion. We call it as DIPP. Now, what's the procedure? How are you going to get the that is approval for startup, and that's a startup scheme? That's the one. Log on to the Startup India portal is there. Then you have to enter the legal entity, what's your incorporation or register number, and then enter your registered date, PAN number. That's a PAN number. It's an optional which has been asked, but presently it's a mandatory that where you have to get it. And enter your address, PIN code, and state. Then enter details of authorized representative and details of the directors or the partners who are there in for a startup. Then upload the essential documents which has been asked and self-certification in the prescribed manner. Finally, the file will be incorporated and registration certificate of the company will be given. So then where after that, having to that, register your company has to be done. So where a registration and startup portal can be done only through a following forms. One, it can be a partnership form. Second, it can be limited liability partnership. And third will be a private limited company. Now, when we talk about your Startup India scheme, where they might ask you for a write a short note on Startup India, or they might ask you what is the you can say what's an eligibility for startup or registration, or you can say what's the process of application procedure for a startup of an India. So where you can expect for your section C. Then next, apart from that, when you're writing in an exam, you can also give an overview what is the benefit of a startup in India, what's the disadvantage of a startup in India, and what is the importance of a startup in India. So please go through the you can say a portal. There is a portal called where it gives a clear information about the startup India. As we said that we have there's a startupindia.gov.in. Here, when you go there, there is a clear, a complete picture of the Startup India information you will get, and you can glance of that, and you can get that certain key points where for your final exam you can add the point when they ask write a short note on Startup India. And same way for your Make in India. Now the Make in India, which has been BJP-led India government for the campaign intent to boost the domestic manufacturing industry and to attract the foreign investors to invest the Indian economy. Modi, with the intention of a manufacturing business, emphasis on the key sectors governing concern, the most important entrepreneurs are moving out of the country because of that. So it is a low rank and easy of doing the business. The main objective, why the objective of Make in India, which has been done. So one, to faster the investments, then for to facilitate the investments and to foster the innovation, enhancing your skill development, then protect the intellectual property rights, and then infrastructure, employment opportunity, healthy relationship, and make India digital. That is why Make in India, the concept which has been brought in India, and there are a certain challenges which has been faced in Make in India. One, creating a healthy business environment, which is possible only through an administrative machinery is efficient. India has been very stringent when it comes to procedural and regulatory clearances. India should be ready to tackle the elements which adversely affect competitiveness of manufacturing and encourage high-tech imports, research, R&D to upgrade Make in India. Then it also talks about India has been a better prepared and motivate to the world for the class of R&D. The government must ensure the platform for the research and development, which also plays a very important role for the next big leap in manufacturing. So then what are the major advantages and then disadvantages of Make in India? When we see advantages of Make in India, it provides job opportunities for many citizens of India and targeted mainly for the young generation of the country is the prime beneficiary. The second, improve the vicinity, where vicinity to the particular industry from promising the location to set up the machinery as well as the factory to fulfill the requirement, not only the area, it also improves neighboring location. The third, forgery of the rupees. The emergence of manufacturing industry would automatically convert India into hub for fabrication of various commercial products, which ultimately leads to a grand collections to an FDI, in turn to a strengthening the rupees. Then increase in the brand value. The urban population refers to international brand rather than putting their faith in Indian retailer. A small manufacturing company suffers an extreme loss in the market. Easy of a business. So easy doing of a business will happen. That's an open invitation which will be given to entire world to manufacture the product, and at the same time there are certain restrictions which will be imposed to an entrepreneur. Availability of young minds, where we will mainly focus on the young generation of India. They are planning to move out the country in the hope of better future. So India is always a driven for the innovations and the new ideas. Next, we have a flow of capital. That's since the beginning of a capitalization, Indian currency has been set up for a foreign countries. With the introductions of a Make in India, capital will not only remain in India but also foreign currency will be provided to our nation also. That is also one of the major advantage why we are stuck to the Make in India. So before the advantages of Make in India has been given in your PPT, the disadvantage of Make in India has not been given, but at the same time in your study material is where please go through that. Now when we talk about your disadvantages of Make in India, one, it can be a negligence of agriculture. Now, what is the negligence of agriculture? Negative impact of campaign will lead to earn agriculture sectors in India and well-known Indian territory sector. That the tertiary sectors we say 61 percentage of cultivated land. So that might affect the second, depletion of natural resources. Primary based manufacturing industry depends upon the setup of various sectors, so which consumes the natural resources, water, land on a large scale. So again, which is also and where threatening the survival of large population. Third, loss of small entrepreneur. Make in India campaign welcome the foreign country to manufacture in India with open of arms, automatically eases the various restrictions over the trade in foreign country. That can be a disadvantage. Restrictions of a land, as stated, India is very rich in agriculture sector. 60% of Indian soil is arid. So it means the Make in India campaign, thousands of company comes forward to set up the factory or on the land which could be a which has been used for the cultivation. So that is again a disadvantage. Manufacturing based economy is the other point, where we say Indian economy is one of the largest economy in the world, constituted of three sectors: agriculture, industry, and tertiary. The Indian economy is made up from the service sector, contributing for the GDP. So, which campaign is mostly completely on a manufacturing, exporting, the import will remain a static. So that becomes a huge loss for the economic sectors. Then we have other point where we say interest in international brand. Then international brand which talks about affordable for the merchandise with a foreign label. And next we have a popular pollution. Pollution is the biggest problem which will prevail in India in India as a population, where the statistics which gives a clear information. So likely in a couple of years, making the conditions in Indian worse. Make in India might be economically, but it have an inverse effect economically. And the last point which talks about your disadvantage of Make in India, that's a bad relation with China can also be already have a problematic cause for the country with the intention of a Make in India process. The India is one of the that's a most promising rivals with the other foreign countries. So these are the certain disadvantages where we can see Make in India. So here we have completed with almost all the topics which is being covered as per that is as per your syllabus. So please go through your study material and go through the PPT study once, and then you see if you have any doubts, or again if you have again you have to do any glance, or if you have any
queries. So please put a message for Google Classroom, or once the class reopens, we'll check again if you have any doubts which is related to this topic. And the fifth chapter will be self-learning. We have already sent the study material, so please go through the fifth chapter, Women Entrepreneur, and complete study material which has been given for that. So I think you can study, and it is very easy topic and interesting topic. I hope you have understood this fourth chapter. And thank you. Stay at home, stay safe, we care for you, we care for your future. Thank you.